Level 11. Survival difficulty class 1. Safe, secure, with a low entity count. I made it! I couldn't help but collapse to the floor and kiss the road. Probably a bad idea, but fuck it! All the stress I've been through is made all worth the effort as I stride confidently along the streets. I see an empty cafe. I decided to look for some supplies, but find nothing. I sit in the cafe to do a little writing and look up the level in the survival guide. Not sure why. Hopefully it can point me in the right direction. So, the level is an infinite city. Okay, finding people here might be hard. I can't believe I just wrote that. As in a normal city, you literally cannot escape people. Floating around, going to work and generally doing their daily thing. Here is dead silence. Like the literal apocalypse happened last month, and everyone just packed up and left. I like this feeling of being alone in a huge city. Back in the front rooms, I used to dream about just being able to do my own thing without other people around to judge me. I can do that here. I can stand on a street trash bin and yell at the top of my lungs, and no one would care. I must do it at least once here. As I'm sat here writing all this, I'm soon joined by another customer of the cafe. I didn't even notice him until I heard a chair being pulled behind me, and then the rustle of a newspaper. I turn to look, and the individual just sits and reads his paper. Doesn't even care about my presence. I feel like I should just leave him to it, but I just can't help but stare. I know it's rude and everything, but I'm just burning with curiosity. The fellow clearly felt my gaze though, and lowers the newspaper to look at me. Only he doesn't, because he physically can't. He has no face, just smooth. Oh! It made me jump in a very noticeable way. I think I offended the poor chap. I apologised to the faceling and asked politely where the other people were. He seemed to sigh and folded his paper and left the seat, pulling me over to the shop door and pointed me down a certain street. So, this way to people? I thanked the man and apologised again. The faceless man just seems to shrug. Poor guy. Probably just wanted a bit of peace and quiet, and I was the one obnoxious arsehole he had to deal with that day. Yeah, I get that. I walk down the street, catching my reflection in the window. I then look myself up and down. Wow, you've been through some shit, huh? I think it's time for an upgrade in clothing. Tears and rips are all over my trouser legs, and my t-shirt and hoodie are stained with blood and oil and other crap I got covered in. My trainer shoes are on their last legs. My leather coat had been a godsend, sturdy enough to deflect most attacks, and good at keeping me warm enough in cold places. I bet the smell isn't going to be pleasant though. My hair and beard are nearly dreaded at this point. I need a good long soak. I'm glad that faceling didn't have a nose to smell me with. I'd like to take a moment and thank a little object here in the Backrooms, and that being almond water. When I first met that little lifesaver in level 1, I was skeptical. I never liked nuts of any kind, and I thought that the almond water, being the only safe drink, would end up becoming my worst enemy. But instead, it has been the sole reason why I'm standing here today. If we didn't have that, then I doubt anyone would be able to survive here, period. So thank you, almond water. I love you. This level is very strange in the right places. Buildings are on top of each other, and some even float. I continue my search, finding weird buildings that I couldn't really figure out the use for. It looks like some of the buildings are designed for office work and banking and all the rest of it, but indoors to skyscrapers that are unlocked. I look inside to see all open empty space, with the windows illuminating the entirety of the building. Not all buildings are like this. Some lead into actual real buildings, but this one is more like a copy and paste of another building, like lazy game design. I go inside another building in search of supplies. I'm critically low on everything at this point, and I have only one swig of almond water left. I look around in a different building that has stuff inside. Stuff that counts, like a floor, walls, and a ceiling. It's very dark in this building. Plenty of places I needed to bust out my flashlight. Rummaging through boxes and desks, I find some small amount of almond water and a can of sardines. Should hold me over until I get to an encampment. I get up to turn around, to be met with a smiler. Shit. I'm in a room with one exit, and it's blocking the way. I must be smart about this. I keep my eyes on the smiler, and it does the same. I slowly back up, and the smiler does the same. Huh? I never saw a smiler do that. It's either still and steady, or moving towards me, never away. I wave my hand, and it doesn't react. What should I do? Should I just walk past and keep my eye on it? It doesn't seem to want to eat me. I walk towards the smiler, hoping to pass it by, and it backs up to give me space. I am so confused right now, but I won't argue with it. I wave goodbye to my new friend and turn to leave, but the smiler does something surprising. I begin to walk, but the smiler gently bites my bag, forcing me to a stop, and pulls me in the correct direction to the exit. Well, that was nice of him. I walk down some stairs and follow the corridor to the main exit with my new smiler friend in tow. There's light beaming in from the double door windows, so the smiler dares not go near. I say goodbye to Yes Man, who I decided to name, and go to leave. Well, that was very interesting. The very first friendly smiler. I wonder if other entities are like that. Or is Yes Man just a special case? I wanted to reward him with something for being chill, but I have no idea what smilers eat. Well, anything other than human. At least the sardines and water I found will keep me upright until I get to the meg base. I walk down the same pavement the faceling instructed me to take. About facelings, they are entities that come mainly of two flavours: normal adult facelings and child facelings. These facelings, like hounds, smilers and skin stealers, are very common sights in the backrooms. The adult variety are mostly chill and express barely any aggression, unless provoked. Child facelings, on the other hand, are deviant little bastards. Get swarmed by a group of them and you'll get torn to shreds. It's all here in the survival guide. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting any child facelings yet, but if I ever do, then sorry, but child abuse is more than on the cards. I walk down the street until I find a note pointing the way. The main settlement district is just down the road, and take a right. Easy to follow, since now I find these notes are all over, pointing in the right direction. Brilliant. Only, as I make my way there, I stop to take in an unusual sight. A faceling walking a hound on a leash. They're just walking along a pathway, minding their own business. The two are on the other side of the road, and I know they spotted me, but instead of the hound going crazy and trying to tear me to shreds, it just kind of does what dogs normally do. It was mainly curious and excited at the prospect of a new friend, and got all excited, looking at me and wanting to get closer for a sniff. The faceling wasn't having it though, so it just pulled the hound aside and continued their walk. Been exploring for about 3 hours. I think I just saw a drone. Strange, so even the hounds on this level are passive. Is this what makes the level so safe to settle on? This weird pacifying effect that the level just gives off. I follow the instructions to eventually come across a grand sight. There it is, the settlement district. It's built up like a shanty town, but clearly a lot bigger and grander than the other settlements I was in. Looks like it gets plenty of foot traffic. I approach and hail the guards, who promptly let me in without issue. Cool, at least things are going smoothly so far. But now I've got to turn on civilian mode, which means keeping most of my opinions to myself. I head in and greet the registration officer. Looks like they have a police force here. Makes sense, I suppose. This place is brimming with activity. I register in and begin my search for the mech base. No, a meal would be nice first. No, the receptionist lady recommended I go get a change of clothes, so let's do that first. Right, I got myself a good wash under a shower, which felt amazing. And I went to the supply depot and traded all my valuables and got new clothes, and these are much better than the rags I was stuck with. I got some thick black denim jeans, a new warm dark blue hoodie, and new boots. The dark colour scheme will help me be slightly sneakier. The boots are okay, but running in them will take some getting used to. The trainer shoes was perfect for running, but they weren't going to last. Torn and barely holding together. I had to fix and refix the laces on them on more than several occasions. At least with these new leather boots my feet won't get wet and stay on for longer. I managed to refill my rebreather. Nice. I also picked up some other stuff. A small and light Kevlar body armour and some knee pads, and a bandolier for extra storage. And lastly, a door key to the hub for level 11. I go to get some grub, but on the way to the canteen, I take in some of the sights. I see all sorts of groups of people all settled into their own little areas. Hundreds of people are here. I see the BNTG are here, the Meg, and even the followers of Jerry. So, this is the Jerry cult, huh? Note, keep clear of them lunatics. And the BNTG? Well, I'd prefer not to converse with them sharks, since to do so might end up losing me a kidney or something. Talking with some of the people here, I'm surprised to learn that this isn't the only settlement here in level 11. There's also the Eyes of Argos. Don't ask, I have no clue. Camp Amber 11, Homely Hotel, and the level 11 drone surveillance squad. So that drone I saw coming in belonged to them. Did they spot me, I wonder? There's even a temple for all of your religious needs. Seems like they cater to just about everyone, even Satanists. I'm an atheist though, so not useful for me. I see the followers of Jerry have snuck in a shrine for Jerry. I head into the canteen area with people coming and going constantly. Looks like a post-apocalyptic haven here. Ordinary workers and settlers all wearing clothing that reflect the groups they're with, and people that was non-aligned wore ordinary clothing. Wanderers and explorers are all suited and booted with the best that Backrooms has to offer. Heavily experienced and more than ready to take on anything the Backrooms could throw at them. This place is like a real city inside of a fake city. I chow down on a well-cooked high-calorie meal and head to the bunk for a good night's sleep.